In the dense forests of Karelia, where a cold wind walked among the centuries-old pines, a real storm broke out. Thunderclouds covered the sky, and lightning tore apart the silence of the forest. After this chaos, in the shadow of a huge boulder, a small bear cub was shivering. His fur, black as coal, was wet, and his big eyes were shining with tears. His mother, a powerful she-bear, disappeared during the storm, leaving the cub alone in the harsh nature. The bear cub's weak, plaintive groan was carried by the wind, like a plea for help. Fortunately, that day Ivan Sokolov, a local forester with a kind heart, was walking along the forest path. He heard a thin sound coming from under the boulder and stopped. Through the dense undergrowth, he spotted a small creature, cowering in cold and fear. The cub's eyes, full of longing, met Ivan's, and at that moment something clicked in his soul. Ivan approached slowly, fearing that the cub might be scared or aggressive. But when he reached out and gently touched him, the baby only whined softly and snuggled into his warm palm. Ivan realized that he could not leave this tiny creature to its fate. He wrapped the bear cub in his jacket and, despite his fatigue, carried him home to a small village on the edge of the forest. At home, Ivan called his wife Anna and their 10-year-old daughter Liza. When they came out onto the porch and saw the trembling teddy bear in Ivan's hands, Anna gasped, and Liza cried out joyfully, "Daddy, it's a bear!" Anna was initially wary of the idea, but after looking into the baby's clear, trusting eyes, she couldn't resist. The Sokolov family decided to shelter the teddy bear until he got stronger. Liza, full of enthusiasm, immediately came up with a name, Umka, in honor of the white bear from her favorite fairy tale. Although this baby was black as night, Umka was placed on a soft blanket near the old stove, wrapped in a warm plaid. During the first days, Ivan fed him milk from a bottle, patiently holding the baby in his arms. Liza never left Umka's side, singing him lullabies and telling him stories about forest adventure. When Umka fell asleep, his even breathing filled the small wooden house with warmth and comfort. The family worked together to make Umka comfortable. Ivan built a spacious pen out of sturdy logs in the yard where the cub could play. In the mornings, Lisa would take Umka out onto the lawn, treating him to sweet berries and apple pieces. Umka quickly got used to it and began to frolic like a puppy, chasing butterflies in the sun. Ivan built him a low wooden platform so that Umka could practice climbing, preparing for life in the wild. Anna took charge of Umka's nutrition. She prepared porridge with honey and vegetable purees for him, which the cub devoured with pleasure. Umka especially liked it when Lisa scratched his belly. He rolled over on his back, comically kicking his paws with joy. The Sokolovs watched with affection as their little guest grew, becoming stronger and healthier every day. Every evening, Umka would climb onto Lisa's lap, curling up like a kitten. Ivan, sitting by the window, looked at this picture, and his heart was filled with warmth. When winter came, he made sure that the fire was always burning in the house, so that Umka would not freeze. The family would gather by the fireplace, and Lisa would read fairy tales to Umka, and he seemed to listen attentively, tilting his head. The villagers were initially shocked to learn that the Sokolovs had taken in a bear cub, but soon Umka became a local celebrity. His friendly nature and funny habits captivated everyone. Children came to see him play with Lisa, and adults brought honey and fruit for the little guests. Time passed, and Umka grew up. Now he was the size of a large dog. His fur was shiny, and his eyes sparkled with intelligence and kindness. But even as a grown-up, he still loved to climb into Lisa's lap, causing her to laugh loudly. However, Ivan and Anna understood that Umka was a wild animal, and his place was in the forest. They began to discuss how to prepare him for returning to the wild. After long conversations, they contacted the local Kavage nature reserve. The reserve staff agreed to take Umka and help him adapt to wildlife. Liza, upon learning about this, burst into tears at first, but her parents explained to her that true love is the ability to let go. She nodded, although her heart was constricted with pain. On the day of farewell, the the Sokolovs threw a real party for Umka. The table was laden with treats, honey, berries, even a small cake that Anna had baked especially for the bear cub. Liza put on her favorite blue dress and hugged Umka for a long time, whispering words of love to him. Ivan, holding back his tears, carried the bear cub to the reserve's car. When the car started moving, Umka stood on his hind legs and waved goodbye to Liza. Anna turned away to hide her tears, and Liza clutched the small toy bear she had made for Umka. At the reserve, Umka quickly found his place. He made friends with other bears and learned to get food in the forest. Liza regularly wrote to the reserve staff, asking how her friend was doing. Each answer that Umka was healthy and happy made her smile. 3 years passed. Liza had grown into a young woman, but the memories of Umka remained just as vivid. On her 15th birthday, Ivan decided to surprise her. He organized a trip to the Kivich Reserve so that Liza could see her friend again. The family packed a basket of honey and an old album with Umka's photos that Liza had kept while he lived with them. The road to the reserve wound through snow-covered fields and pine groves. Liza sat in the back seat, nervously fiddling with the edge of her scarf. When they arrived, they were met by a guide named Sergei, who listened to their story with a smile. He led the family through forest paths where the air was filled with the scent of pine needles. In a large clearing surrounded by tall pine trees, several bears were grazing. Lisa held her breath, peering at each figure. And suddenly she saw him. A large, strong bear with shiny black fur and familiar ears. "Umka," Lisa called quietly, and her voice trembled. Umka turned. His ears moved, and his eyes lit up with recognition. He rushed towards Lisa, covering the distance with powerful leaps. Running up, he stood on his hind legs and gently hugged her, letting out a low, warm growl. Lisa burst into tears, burying her face in his thick fur, feeling the same smell that she remembered from childhood. Anna and Ivan stood aside, their eyes shining with tears of happiness. Umka nuzzled Lisa's shoulder, as if remembering their games. Lisa took an old album out of her bag and showed Umka the photos, laughing and telling how much he loved honey. The bear, as if understanding, licked her hand. The farewell was not easy, but this time it was filled with joy. The Sokolovs hugged Umka with the whole family, and even Sergei, who was watching the scene, could not help but smile. Lisa tied a ribbon with a small medallion around Umka's neck. A keepsake. Umka watched the family leave, his eyes shining, as if saying, "I will never forget you." Lisa turned around and waved. "See you later, Umka." And in her heart, there was confidence that their friendship would stay with her forever, like the stars above the Karelian fort. Thank you for listening to this story. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss new stories about the wonders of wild nature.